Hey Questorians, this is just a friendly reminder that this is not going to be a canon episode, but a side quest for people who are looking to get into the game but don't know what's going on. However, if you listened to our announcement episode last week, there was a little teaser on there for episode 8, and we're going to put a little teaser at the end of this episode as well for you guys, because we do appreciate your support, and we know that there are people out there that are probably just wanting to listen to the action, so we want to still fill you in on that as well a little bit. Also, at about 54 minutes in, we do get into a scenario for about a half hour. It's just like regular gameplay. We just explain kind of what we're doing through it. But without further ado, let's get into this side quest.
So you want to create a new character, but you don't even know where to begin? Well, don't worry, because the guys from Questoria have you covered. We'll sit down with the likes of Tamlin, Griffgraff, and Alan the Paladin as they prepare their new characters in the unlikely event that their current characters die. So join them in this side quest and create a new character with them as they explain in detail how to fill out your character sheet as explained in the core rulebook. But what will they choose for their new characters? Find out now.
All right, welcome to Questoria's side quest.
Quest.
Where we're going to create a character together and try to explain to you, hopefully in the best way we can, how to create a character. And the way that we do it, that might differ a little bit from like how it is normally done.
Losers.
Yeah. Okay, so
That was us having fun.
So, by the way, I'm Cameron, and I play Aladdin the Paladin. Aladdin the Paladin. And we have Griffgoff over here on the mic.
What's up, guys?
And then we have Tamlin Two Pockets over here with us.
Fellas.
And we are creating new characters tonight. And we all have created new characters, but we have chosen mine to explain and try to help you through creating a new character too, because it's a fighter, and it's kind of a little, there's no magic involved. It's a little more plain, and it's kind of
There'll be magic involved.
Very, in a
Not
way,
for you.
in some ways, it's like basic and easier to explain than some of the other ones. And if you're just starting out, this is like maybe one of the suggested ones to use. But you can do whatever you want. It's just, we're going to go through this one, and maybe it'll at least help you to get started, and then you can build on your magic character through that.
I would like to
To
add.
clarify, I was talking about my cleric killing you.
Don't think of the fighter as just a playing character, but just more straightforward.
Right, straightforward.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a fun.
We're just saying, as far as
Character, it's just-
explanation-wise, it's just easier to explain and all
Oh,
that.
yeah,
That's
I
all.
definitely
That's
agree
the
with
only
that.
reason we chose this. So, I'm going to be a human fighter. What you're going to want to do first of all is you're going to want to have your Pathfinder character sheet. We'll leave a link in the description for where you can find your Pathfinder character sheet, and you can print that off. So if you haven't done that yet, pause it now and go do that.
Good call.
Also, go get your dice. You're going to need a set of dice. You're going to need a D20. You might need all of them, so you just get all of them. D12, D10, D...
Dice.
8. Thanks, Reese. D6, D4, even the D2. Get the D2.
What about the D1?
Yeah, that one too. You're going to need a pencil. What else are you going to need, guys?
I need like a notebook, a sandwich.
It's
A sandwich,
Yeah,
a
'cause it's gonna
notebook,
be a
a sandwich.
haul.
You're going to want to eat a little bit.
Yeah.
It's going to take a little bit.
yeah, of course.
It's going to take a little longer to get through.
I mean, we had pizza,
We did have pizza.
breadsticks.
Num, 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 num.
A clipboard doesn't hurt. It's nice to have one.
Right. Oh, and the rule book.
Yes.
You know,
The rule book.
but
It's very
I
helpful.
knew there was something else that you
I
really
think
needed.
we'll also put a link in the description.
We will put a link in the description for where you can find the book online, so that you can help create your character, even if you don't have the funds to get the book right away. You can still play. That's the greatest part about this game. So, with that being said, we're gonna start with your character name.
I would like to say, aside from using the free version online, if you do get into the game, it's invaluable to have a copy of the actual book with you.
Yes.
It makes things extremely quick.
Yes,
handy.
it really does. Like, doing it online is a good way to get started and everything, but having the book is really, really handy just to have it right there. Now, with that being said, let's get started, and we will start off with the character name, and my character name is going to be Don Wick. He's going to have a dog with him, and I really hope that somebody doesn't kill him. And then so you put that in your character name, and then you have your alignment there, which your class will tell you what your alignment is, I believe, right?
It might lay out restrictions, or it might tell you it has to be.
It doesn't tell you what it is, but it tells you what you can choose from for your alignment.
Sometimes, yeah. I haven't looked at all of them, but
yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And then next to that is player, and you have. So my name's Cameron. So I put that on the player, so it's your name. And then character level, you put the class, where we put the class, which I put fighter, and then level 1. And then deity, if you are a magic user, you choose a deity.
Well, anyone can have a deity.
Anyone can choose a deity, but mostly magic users will call to their deities. And homeland? What's that? Just whatever you choose.
Place of birth, yeah.
Yeah, wherever
place
in Galarian.
Throw a dart.
It's whatever.
Kansas.
Galarian.
It depends. Yeah.
So Galarian is the world
with your character
of Pathfinder.
Carpet land.
Galarian is the world of Pathfinder, and so your homeland
Nose hair
would
picker
be
park.
like whatever country or whatever you choose to be from.
Town, village.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yes, your
City.
town, village.
You kind of make it up.
Your city, state.
Yeah, you could be from one of the major cities, or you could be from a little farm town.
And then you go down
Whatever
from
you
that,
want.
and you have race, which is human, and size. Yes, for me is human. Size, medium.
Me as
Human
well.
size.
You find that out. How do
human
you find
size.
out your size, guys?
Well, if
In your
you
class?
are...
Yes, it should
well, it's
tell
your
you.
race.
In your race. It'll
In your
tell you.
race, it'll tell you.
So, like, if you're pretty much... All the classes are medium at best. Or
Right,
races,
and then you
excuse
can
me.
choose your-
There's none of the classes
like, halflings are
bigger than
small.
medium.
Yeah.
You can
Thank you.
have
Better way to
small
put it.
characters.
Yes.
All right, and then you can
Gnomes, halflings, dwarves.
Then you can choose your gender, your age, and then your height. Well, your age is kind of determined by your race a little bit, like by how much, how long they can live. And
I did
whatnot.
not know you were going to get that deep with that.
And then weight.
Trying to get some info here.
And then
Yeah.
hair.
Like, I need to
and
fill in my sheet
eyes,
some more.
Blah, blah, blah,
I've
blah,
been working
blah.
on mine over here at the side, too.
You can make that whatever you want.
There are charts. We can add that in later, but there are charts. What?
There are charts.
Oh, some we can add later, but there are charts that will tell you ranges for age for your race, typically what height they might be, that sort of thing, so that you can fill that kind of thing in. Their age, height,
Gotcha.
weight, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So it tells you what by your race, what age limits there are. Okay, now we're gonna get into ability modifiers, which, if you look on the left side of your character sheet, they're abbreviated, and it says strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. They're in black boxes. Okay. Now for these, I was gonna have Reese explain them. Tamlin,
Okay.
2 pockets. Go ahead. Tell us how
Tamlin,
it
2
is.
pockets, taking over.
For ability modifiers.
Ability modifiers, okay. Oh, yes. Okay, so how to choose. There are a few methods for choosing. I'm gonna pick 2 to talk about, just to give you an idea of what they're getting at. So for generating your ability scores, a couple of methods are the standard method and a classic method. In the standard method, you roll 4d6. You pick the lowest one, you discard it, and you take the 3 remainder, add those together, and that is an ability score. You write it down. You do that 6 times for your 6 ability score numbers.
Now, Reese,
Yes.
And when you roll those, the first one that you roll, is that going to automatically go to your strength, or do you get to choose which numbers these go to which ability?
I'm glad you asked, and I will be covering that.
In just a moment.
You can choose what you want to do. So, I will get to that in a minute. So the standard method, as I said, you roll 4d6, you discard the lowest numbered dice or die, and you add the other 3 together. That is 1 ability score. You write that down, and you generate that 6 times for your ability scores. The classic method is you roll only 3d6. You add those 3d6 together. That is an ability score. You write that down. You do that 6 times for 6 numbers using only the 3d6. And as you were saying before, and you can do this with either method, it really doesn't matter how you want to do it. You can decide to take those 6 and place them where you want them to be to fit your character, or you can say that my first roll will be my strength, my second will be my dexterity,
Gotcha.
and do them in order. That way you kind of build your character around their ability scores.
Right.
So if the ability scores favor a magic user, then that could choose your class. Or you can choose your class ahead of time and then fill them in as they will fit your class.
I see. So it's kind of how you choose. Maybe kind of up to the GM. Hopefully they're pretty lenient, though. Normally they are. But you guys will kind of all together decide how you guys want to decide those ability scores. So let's say that, what'd you say, 4d6 for the classic mode? Or the, what was it?
Standard is 4d6.
Standard, let's say we're doing standard. I got 4d6 here I'm going to roll. And I got a 5, a 4, a 6, and a 3. So 15, 18. So that's total is what I'm going to use for one of my abilities, right?
Not on this one. With your 4d6 roll.
Oh, with the 4d6
you would discard that 3. That was the lowest roll.
Right.
And you would add together these 3, which is 15.
Okay, so 15 would be my ability score.
Yes, you just write down a 15.
Okay. And then I would do that 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then those 6 numbers that I generate, let's say I get a 15, a 7, 11, a 16, a 18. So those are my ability scores, and I get to then choose which ones I want to assign to my strength or
right. So I
dexterity.
think you said you had an 18, a 17, and a 15.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you were doing some kind of melee damage dealing character, a fighter, a barbarian, your 18 might be your strength, and your 17 might be your constitution, and which are ability scores or attributes that are suited for melee fighters. And if you're doing a magic character, you would use those high numbers in your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma.
Right, generally. So I chose a fighter, so therefore I wanted to have like a high strength, a high constitution, because I'm mainly going to be a frontline fighter. Like normally if you're like a barbarian or a fighter or something like that, you're going to be like in the front lines and you're going to be taking a lot of hits, which means you're going to need a lot of constitution, because that constitution is going to play into how much HP you have, and how much HP you have means how long you get to stay alive. How many points they can take away before you are unconscious. With that being said, I've already generated mine because we do ours a different way. We take, you can also give yours each attribute or each ability 10 points, which would total 60 points altogether because there's 6 of them. And then we give ourselves 15 extra points to distribute how we want to. And then since I chose human, I get it +2 extra to any attribute that I want, to any ability that I want. So with that, I chose to have my strength for my ability score to be an 18, which would give my ability modifier a +4. And if you go to this section in your
okay,
okay, so if you go to the very beginning, pretty much of your the core rulebook,
in chapter 1. It's called Getting Started. There, if you're looking this up online and you click on Getting Started, there should be a drop-down list, and in that list, it's using the book, common terms, example of play, generating a character, and ability scores. you're going to want to go to generating a character, which, as you read through, it will lead to ability scores. And that should give you the info you need to determine.
Okay, and then in there's a table that'll tell you, right? There's a table that'll tell you...
That is correct. It'll tell you... So
what you're, like, based on...
If you have 18 strength...
Right.
It'll tell you how much of a plus or minus to your ability score you get for a modifier.
Right, so anything below like a 10 is when you start to get like a negative to your ability modifier.
Yes.
And anything above a 10 is when you start to get a positive to your ability modifier. So I have an 18 for my strength, which is a +4 to my ability modifier. I have a 12 to my dexterity, which is a +1 to my modifier. I have a 20 for my constitution, which is a +5 to my modifier. I have a 12 for my intelligence, which is a +1 to my modifier. I have a 8 for my wisdom, which is a -1 to my modifier. I have a 7 for my charisma, which is a -2 to my modifier. Now, my HP is determined by taking the hit die that is determined by my class, which will tell you if you go to the drop-down arrow on the core rulebook and go to your class.
I'd like to add the importance of the ability modifier based off of your ability score. The importance of that number is as you go through your character sheet, you're going to be using those numbers to fill in a bulk of the information through your sheet. That's why those are important.
Oh, right. Determining the ability modifiers, I guess, yes, it's become easier to us, but since we have done it a few times where it's not just about filling them in. You do want to read about attributes based on your race and your class and really, really think about where you want your attributes to be. So,
not to say spend 12 days on your first character. I mean, just throw something together. But that's just to give you an idea when you start playing, maybe how you might want to do it in the future.
Right.
So don't dwell on any one thing too long.
Yeah. So also, the Constitution, the reason mine is so high is because I'm going to be a frontline fighter, and my Constitution is a 20, and it gives me a +5 to my ability modifier, and that plays into my HP. So my HP is determined by taking the hit die, which is determined by the class that you're in. If you go to the class in the core rulebook in the drop-down, then under class, it'll tell you what your hit die is. Mine is 10. Now I add my ability modifier from my constitution to that. So I get a +5 added to that hit die of 10. This gives me a 15. Which is a lot for level 1. If you're creating a level 1 character, it's a pretty good amount. So you have your ability modifiers. Now you can start filling out a lot of the rest of the sheet. So you go down to your AC, which is just below the ability modifiers. That's your armor class, and you to get that number, you see that next to it says 10 plus. And then it has these boxes next to it, and then the first box has an armor bonus, and the second box has a shield bonus. The next box is a dex bonus. Next box is a size modifier. Then you have a natural armor, deflection modifier, and miscellaneous modifier. Now those last 3, I wouldn't even worry about, honestly, unless you're like have some sort of scale or something, which I don't think you would really choose. Not right off the bat.
Deflection modifier box a lot.
Huh?
I have a spell that is actually going to affect your deflection modifier.
Right, but like for instance, for a fighter, we're not gonna worry about that.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, like, when you will use that box will be in cases where spells or potions are causing effects.
Right. Okay, so we are not going to use that, but
or even
you will use that if you are using spells and stuff like that. So at this point, you're going to want to go to the armor, wherever the armor is, which is in weapons, I believe, or it's in equipment. It's under equipment.
Are you doing AC right now?
Yeah, but you in order to find the shields and the armor that you want, you got to go to equipment. And so that's determined by depending on what equipment you choose. Now, equipment, you have to buy equipment. Now, that means you need to have money. In order to have money, you're going to need to go to
Your class.
I think it's also an equipment, right? Wealth, money.
No, I believe that's your class where it tells you your D6 you roll for.
Yes. No.
Roll over.
Starting character wealth.
There's a table in wealth.
It's if you have the core rulebook, it's on page 140 in the core rulebook. If you do not have that, you just want to go to chapter 6, which is equipment.
Yeah.
It'll probably be a drop-down tab.
Yep. And at the very beginning of equipment
and very first thing, you're going to get some tables, wealth and money, coins, trade goods. And right there at table 6-1, starting character wealth, you just figure out, so he's a fighter. He goes down to fighter, goes over to starting wealth. It says 5d6. So you get yourself 5d6. You roll them, or you can roll 1d6 5 times. That's perfectly acceptable. Just keep track of the numbers. Add those together.
Can I roll a d3 10 times?
If you get 5 5s.
So let's just do this for instance for right now. I got 5d6 right here. I got 5d6. All right. Rolling. All right, we got a 5, a 2, a 2, a 6, and a 2. 17 times 10. That's 170. So you have 170 gold points.
Yes. So you take those 5d6, you roll
Not every class is the same.
No,
Fighter
yes,
was
it
a
will
5d6, but let's say if I was a barbarian, I would only get 3d6 times 10. Depends on your class. I think a monk is like only a 1d6, right? Jeez.
It is not. It is. In fact, it is. Monk has
I remember
the
that.
absolute worst starting wealth. They have nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I think they reached into a couch cushion. They pulled out
they cannot,
single silver piece and a piece of lint, and they kept the lint and went about their business.
They can't really get like a shield or armor or anything. Anything at all. A weapon?
You can if you want.
I guess you can get like a weapon. You can get a weapon.
You can have you can have anything. It's just detrimental to the monk's abilities. You could do it if you wanted. I mean, you never know what this game. There's a lot of stuff you could figure out. You can have nunchucks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Throwing stars.
Yeah. All right.
You should be Liu Kang.
So you've determined your money. Okay. Now you can go to further on in the weapons, which you're already in, which is the drop down. It's in chapter 6, and table 6-1 was the wealth. Then you move on to the further tables. Then you can find by scrolling a little bit further or going a couple pages further, there's a table for all the weapons, and you can choose which weapons you want based on what it says in your class. Which, if you go back to your class, whatever you choose, which mine was a fighter, it should tell you.
What was funny at one point, you told Reese to go to one thing, and he's like halfway to that in the book, and you're like, now go to money. Yeah. He's just like, shit. Flipping back to the other side of the book.
So, yeah, if you go to your class, it should tell you what weapons you're proficient in, and that should tell you what you're able to use in the weapons table. Now, if you go back to the weapons table, then you can choose what weapons you want to use at that point, and then what armor you want to choose and what shield you want to choose as well. It'll tell you what all you're proficient in your class. So with that, I was able to choose scale mail armor, which is 50 gold points, because I was able to have like 175 gold points. So I was able to choose scale mail, which gave me a +5 to my armor bonus, and then for my shield, I was able to choose a heavy wooden shield, which gave me a +2 to my shield bonus. And then my dex modifier is a +1, because remember earlier I said it was at 12, which gives me a +1 to my ability modifier. That gives me a total of 18 to my AC, because it's 10 plus the 5 for my armor, plus the 2 for my shield, plus the 1 for my dex. That's 18. That's a high AC for level 1, because what they're going to end up doing is rolling a d20 and getting a higher number than that 18. Now they're going to have their own ability modifiers, like to their strength, let's say when they roll, a d20, you know, they add their ability modifier and it's a +2 or whatever. So if they roll like a 16 and get a +2 for their ability modifier and they get an 18, then they've rolled enough for me to have taken damage. So there's that, but 18 is still a pretty high number, wouldn't you say, guys?
That's a pretty good number.
18 is a very high number for AC
Yeah.
at level 1.
Right, but that's why I'm on the frontline fighters. The backline fighters don't usually have as high of a AC
Dude,
or
I keep thinking this is
HP
a drink, man.
either.
Screwdriver.
And then you go down to your touch AC and your flat-footed AC, and I forget all about how I find those out. Do you guys remember? Touch AC, flat-footed AC?
No.
Touch is your armor class minus a certain number, but I forget.
I
I
forget
think it's
too.
minus your dexterity bonus. Because I believe that's the only thing that goes into addition. After
Maybe, you know what? I bet you if I go to combat.
No, I think it's just
Go to your combat
I
sections,
think
everybody.
the armor. Hold on, I think the touch is like just 10 plus your dex bonus and not anything else or something like that, right? There's no armor and no shield.
Yeah,
Or-
it's something like that.
or is
but I
that
think
flat-footed?
In combat.
No, I'm thinking flat-footed.
think it
Your standard
tells
AC
you.
is like you've come into the room, you've assessed that there's a threat. Now you're like actively trying to defend yourself. Your flat-footed is when you don't know anything
Yes,
different.
okay.
So if someone beats your perception with a sneak, you will be flat-footed. You were not aware that they're there. So
Right.
if they attack you, you don't have like that
Right.
added bonus of your dexterity.
But your touch, it means that basically you don't have armor or shield. So
No,
you just
yeah,
add
yeah.
your dex.
I'm sorry, I was describing flat-footed.
Yes.
I was sitting there looking at that, trying to figure out how I got that.
I understood that. Yeah, that is flat-footed. Is that correct?
In the core rulebook, if you go to the combat section, which is chapter 8, and it starts on page 178.
If you
you're-
have
if
the
you're
what
online,
version is that?
the
Because
online
our books are
version,
different.
you need to click on combat, and it's right in the beginning. How combat works, you're going to find your flat-footed. And flat-footed is you cannot use your dexterity bonus to AC, if any, while flat-footed. So whenever
Right.
you have to use your flat-footed, it's whatever your AC is minus your dex bonus. Further down, you go to combat statistics. Under combat statistics, you can find touch attacks, which should give you your touch AC.
Which I believe is just your dex modifier. You don't get your armor or shield. And so it's 10 plus your dex modifier. And that's
Your
it.
AC does not include any armor bonus, shield bonus, or
Right.
natural armor bonus.
Yeah. So in that
So,
case, it's
you
just
can
your
use
dex
your-
modifier.
Oh,
You
I
can
guess
use your
there's
dex,
touch
but you
and
can't
go.
use any
That
armor or
means
shield.
My touch AC is 11.
Don't get touched.
Not so big of a number there.
Yeah, don't get touched. It's icky.
As long as we fight goblins and the such, you'll be fine.
Anybody else's back hurt?
My flat-footed AC is 17, so that's not bad. So an easy way to think about this, guys, for touch and flat-footed before we leave this category. If you go to your AC, regular, and then you go over from there and you have your armor bonus, your shield bonus, your dex modifier, and then in my case, I don't have any natural armor. Okay, in most cases you won't. So you go to armor bonus, shield bonus, and dex modifier, okay? For touch AC, you're going to remove armor bonus and shield bonus, okay? And then add what's left for your dex modifier. For flat-footed AC, you're going to remove your dex modifier and add what's left, which is your armor and shield bonus. Boom, that's it. Add it to the 10.
Let me ask you a question here.
Yeah.
Kind of to backtrack for a second. So let's say that you're flat-footed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't add your dexterity bonus. What if your dexterity bonus is a negative?
Then you're off the hook. You don't
Yeah.
add it.
It still applies.
Shenanigans.
I'm sorry. There's a part in the book, I can't remember where it is. It's something we'll have to talk about later. There's a part in the book that explains that
That would apply to your touch AC. I don't think it would apply
bonuses, anytime there's a bonus and you don't get to use it, then that bonus, if it's a positive, you do as the instructions say, but if it's a negative, you still apply that negative.
Okay. I guess it's a player's discretion right there. So, with that being said, we'll move on to Fortitude, Reflex, and Will saves. And that will be in a little table that's in your class category. In the core rulebook, in the drop-down arrow, if you go to class, it should be in a table in there, and it'll tell you your Fortitude, Reflex, and Will save, which in my case was... My Fortitude was a +2 for the base level save. My Reflex was a +0. My Will was a +0. Now, then you add your ability modifiers, which my Fortitude was a +4, because it's based on your Constitution. It says, actually it's a +5 now, because I switched it. I'm sorry. So +5, and then my Reflex is based on Dexterity, so that's +1. And your Will save is based on Wisdom, so that's a -1. So my Will save is actually a -1, and then my Reflex is a +1, and my Fortitude is a +7. So that's a pretty good one. So then you go down to your base attack bonus. Oh, they have magic modifiers, miscellaneous modifiers, and temporary modifiers for your Fortitude, Reflex, and Will saves as well. But I will not get into that right now because we are just doing a fighter, and this is also just kind of get you started. So, base attack bonus. How do you find that out again as well, Reese? Base attack bonus?
It tells you in that same chart you were just talking about.
The same chart I was just talking about to find your Fortitude, Reflex, and Will save. It'll tell you your base attack bonus, in which case, in my case, was a +1. And spell resistance, I think that's just based on
spell resistance.
What armor you have on. If you have like this is just my best guess actually, so don't quote me on this, but I believe it's like if you have on certain armor and you're a spellcaster, then you have a spell resistance of a certain chance to miss your spell. You probably just write the percentage in there based on what you're wearing for your armor. And then you have your CMB and your CMD, which is your combat maneuver bonus and your combat maneuver defense. Your combat maneuver bonus is you based on your base attack bonus, which is mine is a +1, and then your strength modifier, which mine was a +5. So that would be a 6 for my total for my combat maneuver bonus. My combat maneuver defense is based on my base attack bonus, which is a +1. My strength modifier was +5. My dexterity modifier was a +1, so that would be a 7. Well, 17, because it's a +10 at the end there. It shows you a +10. Weapons. So you figured out your how much money you have. You spent money on your armor and your shield, and whatever. Hopefully you didn't spend too much money, because whatever money you have left, you want to be able to spend on your weapons and have decent ones, and then spend the rest of that money on your items like a lamp or a torch or flint and steel or a rope or whatever, what have you. So in my case, I chose a battle axe. And how do we find the weapons again? It's in the equipment, right?
Section,
which is chapter 6 in the core rulebook. So equipment will bring you to the weapons. You go to that table, and then you and remember to find out what you're proficient in. It'll tell you in your class. I'm proficient in simple and martial weapons, so I was able to use anything in those categories, anything out of that table, anything in those categories that I wanted to do. Normally, especially if you're just starting out, you're going to want to have some sort of a melee weapon, which is like a sword or a battle axe or a hammer or something like that. And then you're going to want to have a ranged weapon, which is like a spear or a sling or a bow or a crossbow. Generally, people have crossbows or bows. In my case, right now, I have a battle axe and a short bow. My battle axe, if you go to where it says battle axe, which I believe is under the martial weapons, it has an attack bonus, which was my strength modifier, so it's a +5. And then over further, it says my criticals at ×3. That means if I roll a 20, which is a critical hit, it'll be whatever my damage is ×3. That's a lot of damage. My damage, my regular damage, how to find that out down below there, is well, it'll tell you in your Battle X. So it'll say for like a small creature is a 1d6 and a medium creature is a 1d8. I'm a medium creature, so I'm 1d8, and I think anything above that is still just a 1d8. And then I got a +5 because I have my strength modifier to that. So I have a 1d8 +5, so I could potentially get 13 points of damage in one hit. That's pretty awesome. And then I have a short bow, which if you go to the stats for that, I have an attack bonus of +1 because I add my dexterity modifier to that because it's a ranged weapon, and you add your dex modifiers to ranged weapons, whereas your melee weapons, you add your strength modifier to those. Melee weapons, you add your strength. Ranged weapons, you add your dexterity. Got it? Got it, guys?
Got it.
All right. Good to hear. I'm glad you guys know. All right. So, you have other slots for weapons there too. I don't have any others right now. You can totally have like a dagger or a rapier or something like that stashed away if you want to. It's just not my style right now. You know, if I acquire one later on, cool, I'll take it. That's my style.
Steal it from an unsuspecting patron in a bar.
Right. So, no, we move over to the right
Skyrim
column. And we have our speed, and which I kind of forgot to do at the beginning. Kind of wanted to get that out of the way. Speed is determined by your class, right? Your class or your race? Race.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm a human. My base speed is 30 feet. That means for every 6 seconds, I can move 30 feet. Yeah.
It's fairly fast.
Yeah, hey, young man. Yeah.
And with armor, sometimes, like, depending on what your class is, it'll tell you, like, you know, if you wear this type of armor, it'll slow you down. It'll give you a base speed of like 20 feet instead of 30 feet or something like that. I'm okay. I'm proficient with all armor because I'm awesome.
A badass.
So
you're going to wear all three at the same time?
And then it says fly. I don't think you have to worry about that ever. Literally ever.
Unless you're riding Pegasus.
Unless you're riding Pegasus or you're just like a witch or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Riding a broom, yeah. You can ride a broomstick.
Swim.
You can swim. Has nothing to do with
Burrow.
flying.
Where is that said? Maybe in your race too? So how you swim and climb and burrow? How much you can do? I don't know. There's slots for it. I don't know. We'll maybe either leave that out of the podcast or we'll come back to it.
Yeah, we'll have to add that in.
Okay.
It's where it says speed over here. There's other categories. There's with armor, flying, swimming, climbing, burrowing.
I can tell you right now. I can
burrow 30 feet.
I can tell you right now, guys, whoever's listening, that you're not going to need to worry about that. And if you ever do, then you can look it up and you could just Google it. I'm telling you, there is a lot of things on here that if I couldn't find it in the book, I was able to Google it and I was able to find my answer regardless. So, you know, just don't worry about it right now. In your basic encounters, you're not gonna like really.
You're not gonna need to
worry
burrow.
About that stuff. Yeah.
Unless you're like in a prison, you're digging out with a spoon.
Yeah, right. When does that happen?
Never.
We're never in a prison.
Never happened to us. We haven't done it yet.
What do you guys think about the campaign so far? That's the word. Campaign. What do you guys think about the campaign so far? As far as getting it, getting to the.
It's been long.
Yeah.
It's a long. It feels like Red Dead 2. A long intro.
Yeah.
But
I'm ready to get to that.
It feels like
rendezvous
we're
point.
gonna really rack up a lot of points.
Yeah.
And by the time we get to our first village, where we can maybe relax and buy stuff and take a shower.
Oh, I'm so excited for a shower.
My character is so ready for a shower. Yep.
All right, I gotta wash my beard.
Yeah, it's pretty scody.
So, I have a like a grimy ring inside of my bead for my beard.
That's
All right,
disgusting.
so
You gonna shampoo and condition that beard?
below
of course.
speed,
It's gonna be soft,
I
like
got
baby puppy.
we
fur.
have skills. And skills are in their own category, right? What chapter is it in skills? Can we look that up real quick?
Skills is chapter 4, and if you click the skills tab, then you'll find stuff. Isn't
All right.
that nice? Isn't that
Skills.
so nice?
Now, also, in your class, it'll tell you what you're proficient in for skills. And what that means is, like, let's say, like, it told me that I was proficient in the skill of climb, craft, handle animal, intimidate, knowledge engineering, profession, ride, survival, and swim. I checked those on the little check boxes there you can do. That means that it'll also tell you, like for instance, I can choose 2 ranks per level for my skills. Now, if I choose a rank in one of those boxes that are checked, like climb, for instance, I'll get a bonus to that skill, but just one time. So, for instance, I chose a rank in climb, and that gave me a bonus of 3, which gives me 4 because I chose the rank, which is 1, plus the 3 bonus is 4. And then also I add my ability modifier to it, which is my strength bonus, which gives me a total of 8. That's a big bonus to a climb bonus. And this is how you figure out all of your bonuses for those. You don't have to do it to all of them if you don't want to yet. But some say it's a good idea. Just add them up and have them all written down, ready to go. You can just add up the ones that you chose a rank in. It's up to you. But that's pretty much that section right there. Moving on to the back page.
Going to back
The
page.
back page.
The back page.
All right, so we got AC items up at the top, which let's just blow past that.
Nobody
Yeah,
needs that
nobody
Who
crap.
cares?
important.
If you really want to know how to play this,
It's the
Don't-
most
just
important,
blow that past that.
unimportant thing.
blow past that right now. So go right down to feats, which is in the middle, because it's like we kind of going by this like top to bottom, but also kind of like by order of importance. And feats are pretty important.
Yeah,
So
as long as you got one right, one left.
feats are in their own category too, right? In their own chapter.
Yes, they sure are. And let me go. Blam! It's chapter 5, right
Chapter
after
5,
skills.
feats.
That's gonna be page 112 in the core
So that's
rule
right
book.
before equipment, which is chapter 6, and chapter 5 is feats.
That
and
is correct.
in there, you want to choose your feats. Now,
You sounded like Chris Farley
I think
from Billy Madison right there. When they're in the tent, that is correct. Takes off his shirt.
That's correct.
Oh yes. Okay.
So
That was Sonia.
how do you find out your
And
feats?
then it was Chris Farley afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Sonya from
right.
the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Bridget Wilson.
Yes.
How do you find out your feats?
I love you,
Or how many
Bridget.
feats you can have per your class? Is your
How do you
class?
find out?
How many feats you can have like per level or whatever?
All right. Well, right in chapter 1, as you're creating a character, there is a table which explains how you level up, how much experience you get, and actually, it's when you go to chapter 3, which is coming up very soon. Okay, so it's right when you get to chapter 3 in classes. There's table 3-1 on page 30 of the core rulebook.
Okay.
And it'll tell you, first level, you get 1 feat. Every odd number level, or every other level after that, you get an additional feat. Now, there could also be information in your class chapter,
Right.
chapter
That's
2,
kind of what I was getting.
which could tell you, again, if you get to start with an extra feat.
And in my case, basically, I was given 3 feats to start out with, and I chose dodge, which gives me a +1 dodge bonus to my AC, which basically adds a +1 to my AC, which means my AC is actually a 19, guys. It's a 19. My AC is a 19.
That's pretty ridiculous.
You're just going to stand there and stab stuff, and they're just going to constantly miss you.
That's in my
And you're gonna be,
miscellaneous.
like,
That
dead.
must be. Hold on, guys. That must be my miscellaneous modifier then. That must be what that's talking about. for feats, you know? So, like back on your first page, sorry to throw anybody off that's listening. Back on your first page, it says in AC over at the very right, it says miscellaneous modifier. I'm thinking that is where the feats comes in, where this says dodge +1 bonus to AC. So then I have an Iron Will, which gives me a +2 bonus on my will saves. Now, if you remember, I told you that my will save was a -1, but this feat gives me a +2 on my will saves, which actually brings it up to a +1 because -1 + 2 is 1.
Crowd goes wild for the +1.
All right, yeah. And then I also got alertness, which is a +2 on my perception checks and my sense motives checks. So I could like roll 9 and still be able to tell that Reese is sleeping right now. You know?
I was thinking of that's how alert you are.
Right. Because, it gives me a +2 perception. And I already have my perception. If you go back onto your skills on the first page, your perception is based on your wisdom modifier. My wisdom modifier is a -1, so that would really suck. So that gives me a +2 perception, so that gives me actually a 1 there. So, keeps me in the positive there. So there's ways around. It's kind of like a loophole for when you don't want to give your ability modifiers big numbers. So this is actually really important, guys. Like, these feats can be loopholes for if you don't want your ability modifiers to be that high, so you can siphon those points into other abilities to make them super high, like my constitution or my strength, because you don't need to be so well-rounded. You want to really base like just a couple of your abilities around what your character is going to be. You know, if you're a barbarian or something like that, you want a high strength, a high constitution. If you're a wizard, you're going to want like a high wisdom, high intelligence, high charisma, stuff like that. Maybe some high constitution. I don't know. Or dex, you know, if you're doing some ranged attacks or something like that. But that's about it. So, after we get our feats down, you've chosen your feats. There's a lot of really cool feats in there. You just check it out. There's a ton. Then you go to your gear, and then that's also in weapons, which is in equipment, which is chapter 6, I believe.
Yes.
And you basically can then choose, like, if you want a torch or a flint or a steel or like rope or oil or a flask for water. You know, you're never gonna know when you're gonna need these things. You really, really, really don't. So we have our money figured out already, the money situation, and you add all of what you bought together, how much it costs, subtract it from how much you've earned total from at the beginning, you know, and hopefully you have enough to pay for that. If not, you'll have to siphon around some of that, some of those funds. And then you have your special abilities, which is, what are special abilities again?
Those would be like for like my character is a cleric, so like
it tells you on your character, it tells you on your class,
channeling is
right?
a special ability.
Class
Yeah,
chapter.
yeah.
But
class
even then,
traits,
like
right.
sometimes on other characters, I've used that just for additional like feats, so I
Right.
can write bigger.
Over to the right, you have spells. You have spells known, spells, spell save DC. It'll tell you if you're doing a character with spells. It should tell you the info within those spells. What kind of a spell is there, what level it is, or what level you get to choose from, which spells, you know, and then you can just fill out that chart based on those. And then you have below that, you have your domains and specialties school, like what domain you chose based on your type for your wizard or cleric or whatever. You can put that info in there. And then your experience points down at the bottom is just that'll be told to you by your GM, and you add those up, and that'll bring you to your next level based on what speed you're playing. If you're playing,
Can you hear that?
yeah,
Sorry.
If you're playing slow or medium or fast, you know, ours is medium, so we won't level up to level 2 till 1500 points. So, it just depends on what you're fighting and whatnot. We'll bring you up to 1500 points pretty quick. And with that being said, that wraps up making a character with Griffgraph, Tamlin, and Aladdin. And our new characters, Don Wick,
Unknown,
Don Bitch,
and Unknown and Don Bitch, I guess. Apparently, those are the new characters there. But tell us a little bit about your new character. Like, I know you don't have a name or anything, but for Griff, what are you thinking about for your new character when you pass off into the afterlife, Griff?
I believe it's going to be a cleric, human.
You really want to eat that mic.
Oh, that's right. I want to eat the mic. I forgot.
Yeah, you really want to eat it. You want to eat it.
The new Griffgraph will
It is
be
the finest kitty
a
cat you'll ever
cleric
find.
and a human this time around. A human. And then that's going to give me some
Eat
super
that mic.
awesome
Eat that mic.
healing abilities. So he'll be able to do like special ability that's a channel. I can do that 7 times a day because I took a feat.
And
Get
channel is
extra
what
channel.
now?
Channel would be a spell where you can create basically a area of effect to cause positive or negative energy. And what's cool about that is for like everyday humans or orcs or whatever race that's living.
Any of your friends or whatever.
yeah, they would heal for a certain amount. I think it's a D6 at my level.
And then you said you can do that 7 times a day?
7 times a day.
Jeez.
But I've taken additional feats where I can make that happen to cause luck effects, or they could be to cause force fields.
Huh.
So
That's really cool.
I believe that's let me see what that feat
So,
is called.
clerics are basically healers, if you haven't guessed that by now. Like they're really good for kind of like backline fighters, and just like as the people in the front are doing the hits and taking the hits, they just keep healing them up and healing them up and healing them up. Keep it going. Now, Tamlin, what about your new character? What do you think about? What are a couple of cool things for
Don
him?
Bitch? What's up with Don Bitch?
Tamlin, don't bitch. Okay. Well, now I've made a monk before, and didn't get very far with it. It was far in the beginning of our Pathfinder adventures, and I thought I'd revisit it and try the monk again. I've done a lot more reading on it. I think I understand a lot more now. I loaded up my monk with strength, dex, con, and wisdom. I used a 16 in strength, dex, and con, and a 15 in wisdom, and then I lowered my intelligence and charisma down to 7. So I really wanted to keep this character heavy on the damage end, just to see how it turned out, because before I tried to make him extremely well-rounded where he wasn't taking any negatives, and it felt a little dull. So I thought I'd see where this takes me.
Right.
Aside from that, monk doesn't really get... I mean, they can have whatever they want, but they don't need anything. They don't really need weapons or armor.
Right.
They're designed to have a high AC and excellent attack with just using their fists, their feet for their attack, and their dexterity and skills to dodge and for AC. So they don't need armor. They dodge attacks, and they're supposed to be proficient with unarmed strikes. So
Right. So they don't. That's why it doesn't matter if they don't have a lot of money.
Right. Doesn't really need much of anything. Can be an extremely effective frontline fighter with just the clothes on their back. That's it. That's all they need.
Nice. So in the next round here of fighting, we're gonna have not fighting in the game. I'm sorry, like just in the next round of us having characters, we're going to have a cleric, a fighter, and a monk, and whatever Chase might be, or yours, or a new character, perhaps.
You never know.
We'll see.
By the time they hear this will all have already happened.
All right. All right, guys, now we're going to get into a little combat, a little scenario. So take a little time to get familiar with your character, read the paper a little bit, and then, as we are playing along, you can literally roll along with us and just, based on what we get, you can go off of that. Normally, when you roll to hit somebody, it goes off of their AC, so that's going to change every time. It just depends on their armor and how hard it is to hit them. But checks are normally going to be like, roll a d20, and like a 5 is okay, 10 is get you a little better, 15 gets you more information, and then 20 is awesome. That should help you a little bit going through this scenario that we go through.
Huh?
All right, guys, welcome to the second part of Create a Character,
the booger farm.
where we talk about boogers.
Picking our nose?
We're talking about boogers. But the real reason we're here is to go over some, combat. We're going to go over some combat. Today, we're going to do a little bit of,
Come on, guys, boogers.
Dude,
yeah, we're going to do...
it's perfect.
Okay. What's going on? Oh, yeah, we're here for a little bit of combat. We're going to do some combat. Some people... We want to reach a wider audience. So, if you want to go over some rules with us, we're here to do that with you.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to really bog down the gameplay too much because it gets bogged down a lot already. So we're doing little separate segments on the general rules and build characters and stuff like that. And today we're going to go over some combat.
Combat.
Little combat wombat.
Combat wombat.
That might come in later. There might be a combat wombat later in the story. You might have to fight a combat wombat.
So in the first portion of this, you got to create a character with us. And if you have that character sheet, you can kind of take that character sheet and play a little bit with us too as we go through this scenario of a little bit of a role play and a little bit of battle.
So get that character sheet done.
Or at least, be
get
able
it
to
done.
Reference and see what we're referencing. We all have
I'm
character
done.
sheets in front of us. So we'll talk about, today we'll reference things like HP and AC and strength.
Whoa.
Slow down. I gotta write this down.
Are we
Hold on.
slowing down? Okay.
I recommend you write everything down.
HC and AP? What are you talking about?
Okay.
Wait, HP and AC?
Okay, we're starting from scratch, y'all. We're making biscuits from scratch.
All right, QF.
I find that, or I found in the past that people seem to understand it a little better when I speak of it in terms of video games, everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I know you haven't played it, but I don't know how many people out there have played
He's pointing to
Zelda.
me. I don't play much video games.
Yeah, you as in Zach.
Zach Finch, the DM of this game. I do not play many video games, but I'll do my best to relate this in video games terms.
But I'm sure a lot of you have played Zelda out there, and it's a lot like when you start off in that, or say Skyrim. If you haven't played Zelda, but maybe you played Skyrim, or those
Skyrim,
type of games.
Definitely.
You're always going to start off, and you're not going to have much, and it's not even really till level 4 that you start to get pretty cool stuff. You get stuff before level 4, but that's it's usually in those types of games. It seems like in general it's usually level 4s when you start getting really the big boost stuff.
The first few levels are building levels,
and
who do I want to be?
Yes, and that's exactly what it's like here. It just takes longer to get there, unless you guys play every day, in which case, well.
It seems almost like maybe Skyrim, or what are they, the Elder Scrolls?
Yeah.
Is the name of that series. It seems almost like maybe they were taking some of their cues from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, perhaps.
It seems a lot like that, actually.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, and I've never even played the game, but just from what I've heard from a lot of my friends that do, it seems very much like they take a lot of their cues from Dungeons and Dragons. So if you're a Skyrim player, this should come second nature.
Okay.
Also
or
similar
Elder Scrolls,
to the
whatever
type
the
of
fuck
play
I don't
that's
wanna hear a bunch of shit about it.
Red Dead Redemption, but more fantasy world.
Even Grand Theft Auto is it's an RPG.
A little bit, yeah.
These are all RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've ever created a character and started at level 1 and had to build a character, then this should be not unfamiliar to you at all.
Like Zelda, you start off, you don't really have anything. You have a wooden sword. It's a piece of crap. And then you got to go get a better sword, and you got to get a shield, and then that's what you got to do here. You got to build yourself up.
The difference being
let's get
there's
into
just
this
a
shit.
ton more rules.
Yeah, speaking of that, let's get into this shit, and we'll go over the rules as we approach them. So, we're starting off today. We have a little bit of backstory, which for this episode has been generated by Cameron Helm. I'm going to be playing the GM still. but Cameron has generated our backstory.
Essentially, we're two kings of...
Is it kings or is it just like heads of like patriarchs?
Patriarchs. Sorry. Of our own...
No worries.
Of our own like families. But we had just kind of fought...
And are you like pilgrims? Did we decide that you're like pilgrims? Are we going with the Jamestown feel?
Yes, because this is, by the way, this is probably dropping sometime around Thanksgiving, maybe a little bit before. So we feel like this episode is good for you guys to maybe sit around with your family or with your, your cousins, maybe not your mom and dad, or I don't know, but maybe you could find some like-minded individuals within your family and maybe play a little game, create a little character.
And eat
some turkey. So this scenario is going to revolve a little bit around
not too sleepy.
Having a feast. And that's all I'll say for now, but we are sitting down kind of breaking bread with each other because we kind of just fought a war with each other, and there's a monk and a barbarian, and their families are kind of like...
also pilgrims.
And also pilgrims. And we've just made a long trek after that war and made our pilgrimage to here, which is in Jamestown.
Hence being pilgrims.
But something goes awry, and we will find out. Hopefully, while we're doing this.
Now.
What do we need to get to before we find out?
Then.
Maybe nothing.
Now.
So will we find out right now?
When will then be now?
Is then now?
Soon. When will then be now? Soon.
We just missed it.
No, sir, that's Mr. Coffee.
We got a guest star on the track.
Oh. Okay, so we're going to sit down and break bread because we had just made this pilgrimage to this town, and one of our wives gets poisoned. It's my wife. I'm Herman, the barbarian.
Herman the barbarian.
And my wife, Sheila, she got poisoned.
Sheila.
Your dad named you Sherman Merman.
So my wife gets poisoned, and I am starting to get, suspicious of what's going on. I think she's just fallen ill.
And you're looking...
Really, really ill, but she's not dead. But she's bedridden for sure
Yeah, she threw up all of her turkey.
Is she coughing up blood?
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit of blood.
Or maybe it's cranberry sauce. It's hard to tell.
Let's roll for that'd be a good. Maybe let's roll for that.
What are we rolling for?
To see if there's blood. So maybe
a heal check.
I'm rolling my D20, by the way. I rolled a 12, and I add my heal,
which that's going to be a skill.
Which is a skill, on your right side of your front page, and it's based off your wisdom modifier, which mine is a 0 because I'm a barbarian.
Bummer. So
it's a 12.
Well, you don't need much, knowledge to see, there's definitely red in the vomit. You're not, you feel confident that it's blood, but it could be cranberry sauce. But you feel like it's blood.
I see.
And she's throwing up.
Okay. Basically what happened there is if you wanted to find out something, you would say, I want to find out what's going on here. The GM, if he knows this shit, would tell you what type of roll you need to roll. So I'm pretty sure it's blood. I'm going to call for my guards to get her to... No, I'm going to take her there myself because I don't know who the hell poisoned her.
Okay.
It could have been somebody from my house. It could have been somebody from his house.
But you're pretty suspicious of him, right?
I am very suspicious of him, but at the same time, I am going to take her to her bed with one of my most trusted guards. Just the one. His name's Jim, and I call over Jim. Jim Freeball, come here.
Yeah, boss.
and then I sit there and question what my decision was when I decided that I wanted to make him the most trusted guard.
Because he's so dumb,
right?
You just don't think he could possibly have any...
For a split second, it's all that thought is let out through a sigh, a deep sigh, like, come with me, and we go put her down.
Okay,
I come
here
back
I
out.
Come.
I come back out, but before I do that, I tell Jim, I'm like, listen, somebody poisoned her. I don't know if it's from our house. I don't know if it's from the other house.
What?
But you're the only person I really trust right now, even more than my own kids.
I can't believe you. Wow. Oh.
Yeah. Leave all that for later. I'll give you an award or something.
I had so much more to say, though.
I'll let you have a speech.
Okay, later.
If we can make sure that she's okay, all right? I want you to watch her, give her plenty of fluids, and, do everything the doctor says, but also be wary of the doctor.
Okay, boss.
And I go back out to the feast, and I say, Vel, you wouldn't happen to know anything about what just happened here, would you? I mean, this was very suspicious. We have dinner all the time. In fact, every day. And this has never happened before. And suddenly, we decide to break bread with you guys. And we thought we were starting something great here. And look what happened. I mean, I don't want to accuse you outright, but if you were a detective right now that had nothing to do with the case, it would look a little odd.
All right, I'll play the character of the impartial third party.
What happened?
Yeah, I think he did it, man.
See?
What happened? What happened?
My wife is very ill from something she either ate or drank, and we have to figure this out. I mean,
Somebody probably poisoned her.
Yes. Thank you.
For you listeners, this is what we call role play.
Thank you for jumping on board with us. Now that we are on the same page,
I think it was you.
I think it was you.
You're welcome.
What the fuck, dude?
Welcome. That's been my love for 17 years.
I'm on his side right now.
You're welcome for my insight.
I didn't need your insight.
This dude is fucking cold, son.
I need you to either fess up or actually
What
give
the
me something
fuck?
useful to help me figure out what the hell happened.
What is going on right now, son?
I have done nothing.
I'm just the crazy dude like running around in the background like, what the fuck is up right now?
Okay, so right now, yes, like he said, it's just a little role play. I don't really have anything to roll a dice for yet, except maybe we might
We will
get
soon,
into.
though. We
Yes.
will very soon, I promise.
I've only been meditating. I don't know what has happened to your wife.
Yo, I think he lying to you, son.
Okay, sense motive. I want to figure out if this guy is like
Let's hope
lying
this
or
is
what's
a low
going on.
roll.
Right.
But what does
I'm
that go
rolling
against?
I'm rolling a d20, by the way, guys.
That goes against your bluff.
That's what I think. He must have a
Okay,
very
so he's
low
gonna
bluff
okay,
or
so
a very
he's gonna
high
roll
bluff.
What was your character's name?
Herman,
Herman, that's right. How could I forget that?
the barbarian.
And you are
Vel.
Herman and Vel.
I am the one.
You are the one.
And only the one gets an actual name.
Okay.
Other
so,
than a number.
Yeah, we're talking about his family right now. Like these
So
guys both represent houses.
The one is named.
His is a house.
They
of
call it
monks.
named.
Or a
Like that person is
monastery.
named. And that is Velorel. And everybody else gets like the 2.
Okay.
The 3. And so I brought with me on my journey the 10 and the 15.
Why? Okay. My curiosity is why is it
What
the 10 and the 15 that you trust the most, and not the 2 and the 3?
They were just chosen.
They died.
The rest of them.
Shit.
And 4, 5, 6,
There-
7.
A lot of
Eight,
a lot of the other
9,
monks were busy
and
on their
11
own
and
missions,
12.
and
Oh,
this is kind of what I had left
13,
to choose from, and I decided that they would be adequate for this journey.
Okay.
But
They
the
died.
10, the 10,
10's
which is
been going pretty
actually
strong.
which is actually a stronger warrior than the 15.
So Herman is going to roll a sense motive against Vel's bluff skill.
Yeah, which is a d20. I just rolled a 20
Oh damn.
on the sense motive. I know that we don't have critical hits or whatever on sense motives, but and okay. By the
That
way,
is very ominous laughter.
after you roll, if you're the one trying to sense their motive, you go to your skills, you go down to sense motive, and it's a wisdom
But, I
modifier
mean,
again, which is a 0 for me. But I
Aren't we
rolled a
kind of
20.
on the same side? I mean, you can't.
You are accusing him of poisoning
The water hole.
your wife. That is
Yeah,
a
that's right.
really rough name for your wife, bro.
Water hole. I was just
God
going
damn, dude.
Toy Story,
That's
man.
mean, man.
Somebody poisoned the water.
I mean, my wife.
I mean, my wife.
This village is crazy.
Sheila, that's
What
that's
goes
your
on
name, right?
in your house? Anyway,
Uh.
speaking of houses, so it's essentially Cameron's house is accusing Reese's house of betraying their trust.
And the fact that he's acting so nonchalant about
Yeah,
it
it's just like totally cold.
makes me
about it.
even more mad.
I can imagine.
And I'm like ready to punch your face in, dude. My wife is in bed. Like,
Do we need to roll for initiative?
I
Let-
think so.
Let me just say that punching a monk is a bad idea.
All right, I think that sounds like them's fighting words, dude. Are we
Alright,
gonna roll for
I'm gonna
initiative?
pitchfork your ass.
Ow.
Damn, dude. I
That's
feel like
right.
we better just go ahead and roll for initiative.
This is where
These
when
guys
the
are
tensions
talking
start
tough at each
rising,
other, yeah,
that's when you know
like
it's about to happen.
before shit goes down, and that's
Or
Yeah.
sometimes you'll just be walking in the woods and you'll just be like, hey, yeah, so I had a really good day today. And roll for initiative.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like sometimes it comes out of nowhere.
Bobcat attacks you.
Anyway, roll for initiative.
Oh, yes. That's what we're doing right now. D20, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
That's what
D20 plus your initiative modifier. Your initiative modifier.
You're going to hear us say D20 a lot when we're
Yeah,
rolling.
D20. You better have one of those.
Pretty much. Yeah,
Probably
like,
should have
you
a
can
few.
You can get away with not having the other ones as long as somebody else lets you borrow them, maybe.
Or you
something,
can
but
download the app on your phone.
Yeah, there are a bunch of dice apps. on
They're
your phone.
fun. I like them.
But you definitely want a D20 at least.
And a good way to distract a toddler.
That's right.
The dice apps.
Mm-hmm.
Not the dice. Do not give dice to a toddler.
No. Choking hazard. Do not do that.
But the app on the phone is fun. It rattles and they shake around and they're colorful.
Non-choking hazard.
They're
Do
not
that.
Yeah.
We're such
An
good
Otterbox.
parents. Okay, Herman. Oops. You know what? Fuck it. His name can still be Herman. I'll just get a level 1 barbarian. I had a level 4 barbarian. I was about to whoop your ass.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah.
Initiative 47.
I know. Yeah, I saw his health and it was like 47. I was like, man, that's a lot of health. I know he's a barbarian.
That is a
but-
lot of health for a level 1. So we rolled for initiative because these guys are about to fight. Who won?
I got a 9 plus
Plus
my
your
initiative
modifier.
bonus, 10.
Your initiative modifier, if you have a Pathfinder character sheet, is located directly beneath your HP, underneath these weapons boxes in the non-lethal damage box. And you had what, Reese?
11.
11 versus
a 10.
a 10. Okay, well, that was really close.
Dang.
But that means that Reese or Vel is going first. So he senses, with his monk-like abilities and sensibilities, he senses the tension in the room and knows,
Waxes on.
waxes
and
on.
waxes off.
Yeah, and then waxes the fuck off. Quit waxing off over there, dude. Oh, so fucking juvenile, but I
I know,
love that. Dude.
So like we were saying, you're with your family, you're on Thanksgiving. Good game to play with them.
Yeah, quit waxing off. With your family. Quit waxing your family off. Oh, god damn it. Anyway.
Imagine your whole family sitting around Thanksgiving
Now you
table
just
and
wet
waxing
the
off.
bed sheets.
Oh, god, Jesus. I can't stop saying waxing off. It's so fucking fun to say. Anyway, so we've rolled for initiative. Reese is going to go first. What are you going to do, bro? This guy's coming at you hard, man. You think he's about to fucking hit you.
So it seems
I
like
think he's going to hit
maybe
you.
what happens is I'm meditating like I always do because
He's always meditating.
I'm fucking monk style.
AM, man.
I feel like he threw a punch or something like he went on the attack, but I was just ready for it and I just sideswiped that stuff.
So are you holding your action to see what he's going to do?
He's waxing off my bad vibes.
And I'm in meditate mode, but I'm always ready for an attack. I can feel it.
Okay, so this is what we call in the industry holding your action. He's waiting to see what Bro's about to do, which that throws the
Rules
ball.
off a little bit, but not too much.
Well, I mean,
two people,
that's
it
something you're allowed to do, definitely.
No, I mean, it doesn't throw it off. I just mean as far as like a standard attack. He would normally just attack, but
But
this
because
is-
of his monk-like nature,
Yes.
it does make sense. And it is definitely something you're allowed to do. But you know, sometimes a good strategy to winning a
It's-
battle is attack.
It's
But sometimes it's wait and see.
waiting for the right attack.
for
Mhm.
battle, it is important to have those nifty ideas, but also
Like attack.
in times it's important to stick to your character and who the character is.
Yeah,
Yes.
I feel like I agree with that.
I'm raging.
I prefer
I
you
am
stay
raging.
to your character. Yeah, I prefer you stay to your character rather
Like-
than metagame.
A good example is
GM.
if you create a sort of a damage dealing heavy character who has low intelligence, be stupid.
That's somebody that's going to throw the first punch every time.
Yes, and they're going to be kind of dumb when they do
And
things.
see, now Cam is playing a barbarian, and you see how he is just like testosterone driven, like coming at him. Doesn't really have all the information, but is still just like ready to accuse and ready to fight about it.
Yep.
So I'd say both of these guys are playing both of their roles pretty well.
So you play to your character.
You play to your character, and that makes the game more fun
Speaking of character,
to me.
sorry to you guys.
But if you enjoy metagaming, then whatever, it's your game.
Sorry to you guys that I'm not playing with that fighter that I made. I can't find the sheet, and we had recorded both of these parts at very separate dates, which is why you're hearing one Zach on the first part of it and the other Zach on the other part of it.
Hi. Anyway.
It's split personalities.
But we have enough characters drawn up that I just picked one out, and it was a barbarian.
Yeah, I have a ton of character sheets. All just generated characters from previous games.
And hopefully someday you will too.
Yeah.
After you make the first one, it gets fairly easy.
Yeah, it gets fun. Anyway,
just start
so
making them.
it's your turn, Herman.
Well, I have a short sword and a spiked heavy shield.
That's a combo I'm very familiar with.
I'm going to use my spiked heavy shield because I don't want to she's not dead. She's very ill. And if it is him, I'm pissed, but I'm not ready to kill him. So I'm just going to hit him with my spiked heavy shield to let him know I'm down to clown.
All right, man. He's going for it. So what we're going to do now is he's going to roll a d20, and then he's going to add his strength bonus plus his base attack bonus.
When your base attack bonus is about midway down on the left side.
Yeah, it's about in the middle of the sheet.
And mine's a +1, so I'm going to add that +1 to my roll, +3 for my strength modifier, so that's a +4 total, in addition to my roll, which is a 19, which makes it a 23.
A 23, that's probably going to hit just about any level 1 character, honestly. Unless you've got some pretty badass armor.
But monks usually have pretty good AC, maybe.
Yeah, they do have good AC. And you roll...
No,
you know how that works.
he definitely got me. That was a good roll.
Yeah, that was a really good roll.
I wish I had more rolls like that in the actual
game.
the
actual game, yeah, that would be very helpful.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it only happens in little side.
So now that I know that I've hit him, like I didn't miss or slip or anything, now I can roll for damage, and it should tell you on your weapon what you have to roll for damage. This one doesn't, but I think Zach might remember from his, because he played after our. The spike shield, do you happen to remember what you roll for that? D4 maybe?
It's a 1d6 plus 3.
So I just did 8 points of damage. I rolled a d6. I got a 5 plus my 3. That's 8 points of damage. Let him know.
It barely hurts.
And I say, are you ready to talk now? I'm trying to figure some stuff out. I would really like to not kill you, but I've known my wife longer than I've known you. I'm sorry.
I'm breathing heavy. It was a pretty damaging. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, do you think maybe you could ask your guys? I'll hit you again if I need to, but maybe we could find out who this perpetrator is.
I trust my men. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I would very much like to question them.
I'm pretty hurt. He might just have to question them because I can't tell him no at this point.
All right, so any of you aspiring GMs, this is the moment. I got to make up a character, voice, and personality on the spot. All right. Who are you going to question first?
I'm going to see if I can notice any of them acting strangely, and then he'll tell me what type of roll I have to do for that.
That's a perception check for sure.
All right. Perception. Rolling a d20.
Oh,
Jesus. I'm getting a lot of good rolls, guys. I got a 18 plus 3. That's a 21 on the perception.
Okay. Yeah, with a 21, you look over and you look at the 10 and the 15, and they're standing there, and they both look really stoic and monk-like, but you notice the 10 is being shifty.
I look at the 10 and I'm like, something wrong with your clothes there, buddy?
No, dude. My clothes are fine. What's it to you, man?
I don't know, you just kind of seem a little fidgety. That's all.
You know, I fidget, you know?
You fidget? You fidget, huh?
I'd like to fidget.
Yeah. How about I fidget the shield into your chest if you don't tell me what the hell's up?
Chill, bro. What are you talking about, man? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. You're coming at me so hard all of a sudden, bro.
Well, I like to keep things hard on things. So.
Hard on? Dude, you're coming to me all kinds of weird ways, man.
Hey.
I don't even know what the fuck is going on right now.
Okay, well, let me tell you what the fuck is going on. My wife is in there in her bed, sick as all hell. She's might die.
What the fuck does that have to do with me, man?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out now. All right. Now, you want to cooperate, or do you want shield to the chest?
What do you mean cooperate? I'm cooperating, man. What are you even talking about? Like you're my boss or some shit, dude. Who the hell are you, man?
All right, shield to the chest.
Oh shit. That's another initiative roll. We're rolling for initiative again.
This is where I got a hot head, so I'm just
He's got a hot head, man. But so does Afjar. I mean, if you guys know Afjar.
Well, yeah, he's a monk, I guess, in this case, though. But whatever.
Well, he's a barbarian.
Monk
that runs with monks.
He's a raging monk.
He's a raging monk. Oh, I like that.
Monk.
I like that.
Okay. Got a 3.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Plus a 1. Okay, I got a 4.
I got a 9.
Oh, shit.
So now we got Herman versus F. Well, it's not, we'll call him, the 10. I'm going to give you a taste of your own little medicine here, and I'm going to come at you with the, defense on the offense and give you the spike shield. That's a 14.
No.
Oh, damn. So
He
you
missed. He hit my shield.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the spikes touch spikes.
Yeah, dude. He touched tips. Here's our barbarian tip touch. All right, so that. So now that was my attack act or my move action. No, yeah, that was like my attack action. So now I have like a move action, and I think he's gonna go ahead and draw his masterwork longsword, and that's gonna be my move action, and that's gonna be my entire turn.
So you can do an action, standard action, and then a move action.
That's it. Standard action. Thank you. That's what I was trying to think of. Like an attack is a standard action.
Right.
And a move action is pretty much movement.
So when I attacked Vel, I didn't move. I didn't take a move action. I just attacked. I just did a standard action.
Yeah, he forewent his move action. But I'm not going to. I'm going to take a step back. Pull myself right out of that fray real quick.
All right. So I'm going to then, now that he's tried to bash me, I'm going to bash him back. And I got a 18.
Yeah, that hits, dude.
Yeah, did it beat your 16?
So I roll a d6 for damage again, and it's +3, so I got a 4 + 3, that's 7 points of damage. And I say, so you ready to talk now?
He's like, all right, man. Come on, dude. I mean, I didn't mean to poison her, dude. I just, forgot to wash my hands when I was, making her salad or whatever, dude. And I, went to the bathroom earlier.
Are you fucking kidding me?
What do you want from me, dude? I mean, we don't have, running water here.
Clean hands.
All of this could have been avoided. I didn't have to bash him and didn't have to bash you. You could have just told me.
It hurts.
So, do you,
So at this point, you
what are you
guys
gonna
just
do?
kind of keep role playing and figure out,
no, what are you going to do to this guy?
oh, what am I going to...
Say
It's more
sorry and
it's
give
more
me a
stupidity,
healing potion?
than vengeful thinking. So he's gonna get punishment. I'm gonna tie him to a pole outside, so he thinks he's gonna die.
Oh, shit.
But we're not actually gonna do anything to him. We'll just leave him out there for a day, and we'll feed him our scraps. But we won't give them to him on a plate. We'll throw them out there on the mud, so he has to eat them right off the mud there.
So
And
mean.
do you go back to see your wife?
And then I go back to see my wife.
Okay.
And
Jim Freeball is Freeball your wife, dude.
Oh no!
Plot twist.
Oh man! Jim!
Roll for initiative. No, just kidding. We're wrapping it up.
who
We'll do that
is?
next
That's
time.
that's
his
actually
number,
a great rap right there.
That's his number one. That's a cliffhanger. That's his main guy.
Who's
That
doing
main
what
guy.
to his wife?
Jim Freeball.
Jim
His
Freeball
right
is
hand man is Freeball.
He's freeballing my wife.
Who's your right hand
Hey,
man?
Jim Freeball's gonna do what Jim Freeball's gonna do.
Jim, she's sick. You're sick. This is sick.
You damn right was sick.
It's delicious.
I don't know what else we should have covered, but we'll try to get to that next time if we missed anything.
We'll
If we
figure
do,
it out.
we might do another little side thing like this again and cover some more grounds. Maybe do some magic or something. I don't know.
What? did we-
Oh yeah, that's. Oh
what
yeah,
did we
we should
cover in this
definitely do just some combat rules.
Yeah, combat mechanics, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, all you Questorians out there, for listening. And if you could, just don't forget to subscribe, rate.
Share.
All that gives us the help. And share, for
Yeah,
sure.
man.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah,
We all
man.
know that.
Be
On that
kind,
note-
rewind.
Be kind, rewind. Have a good day. All right, Questorians, that concludes the Create Your Own Character episode. Hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget, if you need to get the core rulebook or the character sheet PDF, just type in Pathfinder character sheet PDF into Google, and it should be the first one that pulls up. And then for the core rulebook, type in Pathfinder role-playing game reference document into Google, and it should be the first one that pops up as well. And as promised, here is another clip from episode 8 and a little teaser for you. I mean, we didn't really promise it, so I mean, it's not like we don't really have to play it, but that's not the way we roll. So here you go. In the middle of the night. We got raided in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And we thought...
It's still in the middle of the
So
night.
it's still... We're kind of like,
Yeah, it's the
maybe
middle of the
been
night.
like a couple hours or something.
You look forward into the darkness of the forest. Behind you is the burning village, which is obviously going to be lighting a ways in. You're still going to have pretty good vision, but then it's going to be dark.
I say, yeehaw, and I crack my whip.
Hey, keep the noise down. We're trying to escape here.
Yeah.
I roll my whip up and put it back on my hip.
Okay.
You could take some advice from Just Whisper, and he's not even doing anything at all.
So you guys are clearly just standing around
I
talking.
want to roll
and then you
a
hear,
perception check.
Okay, go for it.
So that's going to be... Garbage. It was almost on a 20 and then rolled to a 2. So it's going to be an 8. Just, do I see a path or like a way through the forest?
I mean, not like... It says it's not like that dense. It's like the trees are really big. You know, it's like almost like a redwood forest where the trees are really big. There's not that much undergrowth, so you can easily move through it.
Okay.
I'd like to try and perceive my surroundings, see if we got any enemies behind us, maybe close, coming up on our back.
Okay, well, one thing you do perceive is you hear, guys, oh my gosh, you guys, oh my god. And it's Sunny, and she's like, oh my god, you guys.
When Griff hears that, he thinks to himself, jackpot.
Yeah, hold on, I gotta remember what she says. Guys, talk amongst yourselves.
You know how I like my eggs?
Aladdin sees Griffcraft like
Sunny
start to
sides
run
up.
towards, and he grabs him, and he's like, take your time. Be cool.
Yeah,
Be cool.
Play it cool, man.
Play cool.
How did you know?
Okay. All right, so yeah, she's like, so like everybody else, like they got away, but they like teleported away. And, you know, like I was like waking you guys, so I missed them. So like, you think you guys could like, you know, keep me safe?
Nothing would make us happier, Sonny.
What?
Oh,
Wait a minute.
thank you.
Hold on a second,
I'm
Sonny.
confused.
We need to talk amongst ourselves. Can you just step aside for like, you know, like 10 feet back a little bit?
I know the way to the boat. I can help you get to the boat.
Step away, Sonny.
Oh, all right. I'm just gonna go over here.
Just for a second.
Can I take Just Whisper with me? I just want to make sure he's okay.
No.
Yeah, if you want to
what
attend
the
to
hell you
him.
mean no?
No.
It's just he's unconscious. Can you carry him?
No.
She's going to heal him.
Can I just walk over? Can I just go check on him then?
No.
What the hell? No.
All right, check on him real quick, but then give us a second.
Thank you.
What the fuck do I need to for?
Dramatic effect.
Oh yeah, we have no plan there.
Just to step aside for a second and talk. All right, so.
I'm Batman.
Where are they? All right, so.
Where's Rachel?
What do you guys think? I mean, we're carrying a heavy load as it is.
I don't
Just Whisper is unconscious, and things might get a little crazy to kind of protect all these people. What do you think?
Does the gang let Sunny go with them? Does the ogre smash that boat? Do other things happen? All these questions might be answered next time on Questoria.